Kent State's Interhall Council hosts their annual Sex Week. Hear about their plans to integrate Halloween with the educational event.
Halloween weekend is here. See how small businesses in downtown Kent are showing Halloween spirit and what other spooky activities there are.
The manhunt for the suspect in Maine's mass shooting is still underway, and a student from Northeast Ohio is among the thousands in lockdown.
And where and when to anonymously drop off unused or expired medications. All this and more as TV2 News starts right now.
This is TV2 News.
Good evening, Portage County, and welcome to your Friday evening newscast. I'm Erin Sullivan.
And I'm Lex Radde. Let's get right into the news.
We start tonight's coverage with businesses in downtown Kent gearing up for this week's celebration.
Our own Michael Neenan has more on what festivities are taking place this weekend. Hi, Michael.
That's right, guys. As Halloween weekend approaches, local businesses in downtown are showing holiday spirit in their own way. Many are hosting events and doing special offers for customers. Skull-shaped crystals as well as miniature cauldrons.
Yeah, it's witchy season, yeah. We had a bunch of those for Halloween and sold them in like 2 seconds, but I can't get them back in time for Halloween.
Rocco's Cupcakes on Water Street has special fall-themed cupcakes, including pumpkin spice flavored by popular demand.
And then we're also going to be doing a Halloween costume contest on Tuesday on Halloween. So people can come in, wear their costumes, look at a percentage off their order, and they'll also get to be put in the costume contest.
Across the road, Water Street Tavern is preparing for the Halloween nightlife. Their general manager says that Halloween weekend is one of their busiest days of the year.
I mean, it's usually the same thing. It's just really big lines, a lot of wait. I mean, we fill up to capacity and then, go from there. It's always costumes. Got a lot of people that have like fake swords and stuff like that. We don't allow any of that stuff into the bar. We leave that, make them leave it outside.
Behind Water Street on Franklin Avenue, Ray's Place has embraced the Halloween spirit with special beers on tap, including Oktoberfest, which they will stop selling on Halloween.
We are giving out candy during the day to our customers that are having dinner and things like that. But at nighttime, it's just a free flow.
Other attractions around downtown include the Kent Stage, who have a showing of the Rocky Horror Picture Show tonight. Also tonight is Main Street Kent is having a family-friendly Halloween weekend where kids can dress up and get candy from local businesses. Reporting from TV2 News, I'm Michael Neenan.
Thanks, Michael. And if you're looking to partake in some other spooky festivals, then take a trip to the Kent State Library. This evening at 8 p.m., the first and second floor will have games, a costume contest, and of course, free pizza. But be sure to not bring any fake weapons that are a part of your costume. If you do, you'll have to celebrate elsewhere.
The final event for Sex Week is tonight at 7, taking place in the Student Center Ballroom. Sextoberfest wraps up Sex Week with stations of games, sex toy giveaways, and feature tables for 4 organizations. Students are also able to get a Sextoberfest themed t-shirt by volunteering or visiting all 15 stations at the event. KIC Director of Programming Josh Outman said Sex Week is all about education and creating a safe space for students while also having fun.
In August, Kent State's May 4th Memorial was damaged during a thunderstorm. Strong winds knocked down trees that left damage to the granite structures. 17 out of the 137 panels in the memorial were damaged. Now the university has to pay around $100,000 to fix that damage, and they hope to have it done by May 4th, 2024.
Yesterday, Kent police investigated a threat to Kent Roosevelt High School. A suspect made a bomb threat via social media, claiming to, quote, blow up the school. The suspect was located and taken into custody in Cuyahoga Falls, where 18-year-old Maya Logan Gillespie was charged with 1 count of making terroristic threats, a 3rd-degree felony. Gillespie was released on bond today after cooperating with police.
Michael Neenan here to keep you informed on all the weather you need to know for now, because currently in Kent it is 70 degrees and thankfully also feels like 70 degrees. Ain't that something? Well, the dew point is at 59 degrees with winds traveling at 12 miles an hour. The humidity is at 69% and visibility is at a full 10 miles. Now, why don't we take a look at the tomorrow. It's going to be a little rainy, unfortunately. I know for Halloween weekend, we're hoping for clear skies, but it's going to be very rainy and cloudy. It's going to be around 64 degrees with winds traveling southwest at 12 miles an hour. And now, for those of you in the back that weren't listening, let's go over that again at 6 p.m. It's going to be around 60 with a moon phase of a waxing gibbous moon. That's very interesting. At midnight, it might rain. It's at 64 degrees. It's going to be pretty cloudy. And then in the morning at 6 a.m., it will be 63 degrees. And yes, it will be raining. And that's all I've got at the moment. But be sure to check in later as we preview statewide temperatures.
Chase Kaminsky, one of the two men who have pleaded guilty for cheating in the Cleveland fishing tournament back in May, is facing criminal charges once again, this time for poaching deer. In a criminal complaint, the Game Commission says they received info that between 2013 to 2021, Kaminsky harvested multiple white deer illegally by shooting after legal hours and during close season without a valid license. Kaminsky is scheduled to appear in court on November 18th.
And we're sure you've seen a lot of campaigning for this November's election, especially for Issue 1. Tens of millions of dollars have been put into political ads. For ads in support of voting no, Protect Women Ohio has received $9.9 million in contributions.
For ads in support of voting yes, Ohioans United for Reproductive Rights received $28.7 in contributions. The Coalition to Regulate Marijuana Like Alcohol in Ohio has brought in nearly $1.2 million in funds for its campaign. Nearly $700,000 came from donations from cannabis companies who will be benefited significantly if Issue 2 passes. The coalition also reported 2 donations totaling $275,000 from unknown sources. But spokesman Tom Herring claims that those contributions came from the Marijuana Policy Project.
A new Democratic candidate for the 2024 presidential election kicked off his campaign. Hear more about his plan later.
And get ready to turn those clocks back. Daylight savings is creeping up on us. We'll tell you more after this break.
This is TV2 News, truly Portage County.
Welcome back, Portage County.
We have Brian Muetzel joining us today in the studio with international news.
What do you have for us, Brian?
That's not my line. That's not my line. That was Erin's. There we go. Thanks, Erin Lex. Good evening, Kent State and all of Portage County. I am Brian Muetzel, and tonight we go overseas to the war between Israel and Hamas, as people have concerned even more. There are reports of a rocket-propelled grenade that is likely from North Korea, used in Hamas during the October 7th attack on Israel. They have been seen in the hands of a soldier in the back of a pickup truck during the attack. Arms experts point to the first sign of distinctive red stripes on the F-7 RPG. It is not surprising to see Korean weapons in Hamas hands, according to weapon experts, and also arms professionals in the Middle East are being well documented. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza is deepening, with fuel, food, water, and electricity running out, and the health system is in a state of total collapse. Also, Gaza's population of 2.2 million people are in urgent need of humanitarian aid. 1 in 4 people are women with reproductive age needing access to reproductive health services, and an estimated 50,000 pregnant women are caught up in the conflict, with around 5,500 due to give birth within the next 30 days. In the head of the UN's Relief Work Agency for Palestinian refugees, they call for fuel to be allowed into Gaza so that they could continue with the works in the region.
Roughly 900 American troops are being deployed to the Middle East to provide more protection for U.S. forces and interests overseas, according to the Pentagon.
I can confirm that they are not going to Israel, and that again, they are intended to support regional deterrence efforts and further bolster U.S. force protection capabilities.
The deployed forces are coming from Fort Bliss, Fort Sill, Fort Liberty, and Fort Cavazos.
We're going to continue to communicate with our partners on the importance of civilian safety, but we also recognize Israel's inherent right of self-defense as well.
Israeli military officials say they're preparing for a ground offensive against Hamas following the militant group's fatal attacks on Israel earlier this month.
We are continuing to support Israel's military. Security assistance continues to flow to them as needed almost on a daily basis.
This latest conflict between the Israelis and Palestinians has caused more than 1,400 deaths in Israel and nearly 6,000 in Gaza since the start of the war, according to officials from both sides. Some leaders of the European Union are calling for a humanitarian pause in the war so that much-needed aid can be brought into Gaza.
We're working with partners on the ground to see if we can accelerate and increase the flow of humanitarian assistance in.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
So if there is help with supplies, and many refugees will suffer. Unfortunately, everything is going bad, and I am Brian Muetzel, Franklin Hall Studio, TV2 News.
Well, thanks, Brian. And the latest from the tragic mass shooting in Maine, we have confirmation that a Northeast Ohio student is on lockdown. A freshman at Bateman College from Sugar and Falls told Cleveland's Channel 3 that he and his friends are sheltering in place on campus at this time. The college has canceled classes and encourages students to stay indoors. TV2 will have more as the situation unfolds.
Louisville Mayor warns citizens to stay indoors as the search continues.
Democratic presidential candidate Dean Phillips plans to challenge Joe Biden in the next presidential election. Phillips said he admires Biden, but said it's time for a change. The U.S. representative from Minnesota kicked off his campaign in New Hampshire this afternoon. He is the primary challenger President Biden faces.
Welcome back. The statewide temperatures are out there. We just need to find them. Let's take a look. Because going from west to east, Sandusky is at 73 degrees. Mansfield is at 66. Worcester is at 67. Cleveland on the lake is 70 degrees. In Kent, it is also 70. In Canton, 66. Youngstown, 69. And up on the lake, Ashtabula is at 77 degrees. That's pretty warm, warmer than I expected it. But let's take a look at the statewide temperatures, if you will. Now, once again, going from west to east, Lima is at 75 degrees. Dayton is at 74. Cincinnati and northern Kentucky are at 76 degrees. Columbus is at 69, as well as Athens. Steubenville is also at 69, and Akron is sitting at around 70 degrees. Now, let's take a look at the 7-day forecast. Now, I am not happy to report that this Halloween weekend will be very rainy. On Saturday, you'll see showers with a high of 64 and a low of 46. And Sunday, it'll be even worse at 51 degrees, and the low will be 44. But thankfully, going into the week, on Monday, although it will be 46 degrees, it will not be rainy. It'll just be cloudy. And into Tuesday, it'll still be 44. There will be a low of 29. Be sure to look out for chill warnings next week. And then Thursday, it will be pretty sunny, though it'll be around 48 degrees. And then it'll go back to the 50s on Friday, where it will be partly cloudy. My advice, bring a jacket no matter what. It's either going to be raining or it's going to be snowy. Or perhaps it'll just be really cold. We'll see. But that's all the time I've got for today. I'm Michael Neenan, and remember, if the weather is the worst news you've gotten today, then you're having a pretty good day, I'd say. Let's get back to the news.
Thanks, Michael. Tomorrow is National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day.
People are able to anonymously drop off unused or expired medications at collection sites in various locations.
Mary Gaither has more with the story.
It's a public health crisis. The drug overdose epidemic in the U.S. led to more than 112,000 deaths being reported in a 12-month period ending in May, according to the latest estimates from the CDC. And the numbers keep rising.
Narcotics, opiates obviously are an obvious problem for people.
And unused prescription drugs that are thrown in the trash can be retrieved, abused, or illegally sold. One reason it's critical to properly dispose of them, and that's not all.
If there's stuff in your medicine cabinet, your teenage kids or other people can get into it, or other people that are having, maybe a mental health emergency and they decide to take everything in their cabinet, which I've seen a lot of as an emergency physician.
Stephen Maher with Mayo Clinic says flushing pills is also common, but it can have devastating environmental effects.
That can actually cause problems going through the, sewage treatment plant and can actually get into the groundwater, into the soil.
On Saturday, the Drug Enforcement Administration is hosting National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day. People can drop off unused or expired medications with no questions asked for free and safe disposal. That includes prescription drugs, over-the-counter medications, ointments, patches, creams, inhalers, and vials, pet medications, and non-aerosol medicine.
Type in your zip code and address and you can find several locations where they're willing to take it back, usually at police departments or pharmacies.
For Health Minute, I'm Andy Gaither.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration is warning healthcare providers and the public about giving probiotics to preterm babies due to recent injuries and at least one infant death. There have been more than 24 reports of injuries since 2018 that may be tied to the supplements given in hospitals, according to the FDA. The probiotic supplements regular feeding and contains live organisms that can lead to invasive and potentially fatal infections or diseases.
Kent State has another slam-packed weekend of athletics. We're going to break it all down to make sure you don't miss any of the action. And Cleveland's getting a live pay-per-view event for the first time since 2019. What? Yeah. Well, next summer is going to be slamming in the 216.
Sports Report.
How's everybody doing? Hello, it's Timmy Carlile here with another TV2 Sports Report. We've got an exciting couple of things to go over today, so let's get started. Let's toss things around Kent State athletics and see what is on the schedule for this weekend. Today at 6 p.m., the field hockey team started a match against Bellarmine. The volleyball team also started a match at 6. Theirs taking place at Ball State. Tomorrow, the cross-country teams have their Mid-American Conference Championship race. The men start at 11 a.m. and the women follow after at noon. Next up, the women's volleyball team will travel to the University of Toledo for a match against the Rockets, with first serve set for 4 p.m. This Sunday, the field hockey team will be heading to Indiana for a match getting started at 12 p.m., and the soccer team has a showdown with number 5 ranked Northern Illinois Huskies here in Kent at 1 p.m. And it wouldn't be another complete tossing around with Timmy segment if we didn't bring up the Kent State Golden Flashes football team. Next Wednesday, November 1st, they'll be traveling to that school down the road for a wagon wheel showdown at 7:30 p.m. That's going to complete the upcoming list of events for Kent State Athletics. For more, be sure to check out kentstatesports.com. And let's take a look at some Thursday night football when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers took on the Buffalo Bills. Starting off with both quarterbacks leading their teams out of the tunnel, Josh Allen's going to have a rushing touchdown earlier, and here he's going to find Dalton Kincaid for his first passing touchdown of the night, second overall, putting the Bills up 17-10. Here's Josh Allen striking again. Who's he going to find this time? Looking, and he finds Gabe Davis for a nice little 4-yard touchdown pass. 3 total touchdowns, making the score 24-10 Bills. But Baker Mayfield answers back on a long drive, finds Mike Evans for a huge 24-yard touchdown pass after a 2-point conversion, making the score 24-18. Now, Baker Mayfield, last play of the game, steps up from his own 45, launches a Hail Mary, and it's incomplete. Looking for a flag, no flags, all kind of confusion. On the replay, you take a look. Chris Godwin almost makes the catch if he would have just turned around a little bit earlier. Could have held it in. Baker Mayfield got the ball there. That's all you can do. Final score, 24-18, Bills on top. Once again, that's all the time I've got for you today. Have a great Halloween weekend. I've been Timmy Carlile, and as always, let's go Flashes. Back to you, ladies at the desk.
And rapper Eminem is dropping something soon, but it's not a new album.
Eminem dropped a pasta sauce called Mom's Spaghetti, a nod at his famous line from the song Lose Yourself. The sauce will cost $13 per jar, and it's sold at momspaghetti.com. In 2017, Eminem also dropped a restaurant name in Detroit with that same iconic name. Now, if you're interested in getting your hands on the sauce, then place those orders. The first orders are expected to ship this Sunday.
Sources in connection to City of Cleveland and the Cleveland Browns have echoed a rumor that a likely location for SummerSlam will take place near Kent. That's right, for all the wrestling fans out there, SummerSlam 2024 may be taking place in Cleveland, Ohio. While the venue of the event remains unknown at this time, the excitement for WWE fans in Cleveland lingers.
Well, Lex, will you be attending the Summerfest or SummerSlam?
I don't watch WWE, do you?
No, but I do like pasta. So I might check out this Eminem, pasta sauce going on. I wonder, did he create it? Did he collab with someone on it? I don't know, but I'm interested to find out more.
Well, that's all the news that we have for you today. I've been Lex Radde.
And I'm Erin Sullivan. Thanks so much for tuning in, Portage County. Have a great Halloween weekend.